All right, I'm ready. What is this commercial for?
Preventing asthma attacks can be as simple as making your home and car smoke-free zone. For more breathing tips to help stop asthma attacks, go to noattacks.org. WGBB AM 1240 and W240 DFFM 95.9 Freeport, New York.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Real Estate Plate. As always, I'm your host, Nick Sakalis, coming to you live from the WGBB studio here in Merrick, New York. And wow, the weather's really coming in real fast, huh, Trevor?
I like it.
Yeah, it looks like I'll be able to have a nice tan. I won't get as nice of a hue as you do.
No, you don't want one like that. I like it cool.
Yeah, I get the tomato hue. I look like more of a tomato than anything else, but you know what? It'll change. It'll change my
No, you got a
membership.
nice tan, man.
Well, I'm telling you, I got that farmer's tan. I got that red face and the red arms and that kind of thing. It's because I'm hiding behind suits most of the time. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem I have. But I'll tell you something. Um, by midsummer, I'm gonna have my nice Mediterranean skin back. At least arm wise, here and on my face. And that's about it.
I meant to ask you, Nick, how's the smoking coming along, man? You seem like you're doing okay.
I'm doing the best I can. I'm cheating
Okay.
here and there, whatever the case is. I've had some breakdowns, stress, life,
Okay.
life. It's not like as if I'm gonna be hiding it, whatever the case is. I'm trying my best to quit it, and I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Um, Sooner or later, it's gonna be done. It's in my head to quit. Every so often I have these lapses where I'm like, you know what, I need a cigarette, whatever the case is. I'm getting past it though. I'm getting past it. The only problem with it is I'm substituting the cigarettes most of the time with eating, and that's not a good thing either because I'm becoming a fatso on top of it. So that's not. That's not,
And you're a very tall man already.
yeah. Well, yeah. You know what I'm saying.
You just got to show off that, really, all you did.
The last thing I need is to turn into like a 300-pound monster, uh, and say, well, at least I quit smoking, but my cholesterol's through the roof. And, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But whatever the case is, it is what it is. Just in case anybody listening wants to call in, the number here is 516-623-1240. 516-623-1240. I'm not sure if I'm going to take in any calls or Trevor will allow any calls to come through. We'll see. We'll see. If you're not a troll and you get and he likes your voice, maybe he'll let you through. If not, it's what happens. But what's going on with the market? I mean, I had a whole thing about this last week as far as the buyer and seller mentality. And I'll tell you something. I did something I haven't done in a very, very long. Oh my God, I don't know when was the last time I had done any kind of open house kind of situation. I rarely do them anymore. Um, Usually, a lot of my team members do the open houses, that kind of thing. But I was actually at a 2-day open house event for a new listing that went on Thursday over in Greenville. One of my uh, most trusted team members, partner, whatever, anything you want to call it, Harriet had a nice listing over in Greenville, and not a lot of stuff goes on in the market. But I was looking, uh, I was taking a pulse. I was taking a better understanding of what is going on right now with the buyer sentiment, and it's funny. It's funny. It's weird. It's strange. I don't know what the best word to use is, but it's a different type of situation. You're still getting a lot of people that are really they're really having a hard time understanding what they're dealing with. Yes, in some areas the market's somehow slowing down and that kind of thing, but in some areas, regardless of where the market is, like a place like Greenville, the inventory is never huge. It's a small niche area. Not a lot of people sell their houses on the market. They don't put their houses on the market all at the same time over there because there's not a lot of houses to start with. There's a very small sector. So they have a typical tendency of selling quicker, more than usual, more than other areas. But but even more amplified these days because of what's happening. You still have the shortage of inventories in all the other areas. So you're getting a lot of people. They're coming in, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed. There's multiple bids coming in, but you're always going to get these buyers that are coming in, and they come in super, super low, and they say, "Well, I need to negotiate." Well, guess what? You disqualify yourself before you even get a chance because when you get that first flux of order, 10, 20 offers, whatever the case is, they come in, and you're at the bottom tier. Guess who the focus is going to go on? It's going to go on the top tier offers that are in place. So it's something that people need to adjust to and understand. You know, everybody wants to get a deal. Everybody wants to get a deal, and everybody, for some reason or another, don't believe it when you tell them you're going to lose the place unless you bring your offer up. Well, it takes some time for them to actually lose it before they understand how true this is. And I'll tell you something. There's been so many times over the past couple of years that I've been in a real scenario um, where I want to say people thought I was trying to inflate the prices on them or whatever the case is. I'm telling you, listen, unless you come up on the offer, you're going to lose the place. Yeah, I'm going best and final. When you say best and final to people, when you say best and final to people, for some reason they think, okay, best and final until I get my last offer. No, best and final means best and final. You go do the whole gambit, you run through everybody, and make sure that everybody gives the proper offers. And then you say, because you could do an endless cycle of going back and forth, best and final. Okay, now we're going to go another round. And guess what's going to happen? The people that have the true intent and they really want to buy the place, they came in with their best offer at the end. They're going to be really annoyed if you turn around and say, okay, that's great, you are the best offer, but we need more. Come on, you can't expect that to happen because they're going to end up walking away at a frustration or irritation, or be really disgruntled even if a deal goes through. And then what? Then what happens? It's just what it is. So be very mindful. I'm going to give you some tips to everybody so you can really understand how to be able to put in an offer as a buyer in this current environment and be able to understand how to be able to navigate it. Whether you're going in on your own or you're going in with an agent that's representing you, and the agent should be guiding you. But unfortunately, I've seen this time and time again. There's a lot of dimwit agents out there that really give really poor advice to their buyers, and they end up losing houses one after the other because of those reasons. Or you have a lot of people that are wet behind the ears that are brand new to the business because they're watching $1 million listing on TV and they think they're going to become a superstar real estate agent overnight without putting the work in, and they're giving you the wrong advice as well. Or they're one of these part timers that they work another 3 jobs at the same time, and they don't have the time and the ability to focus and put the time in the way it needs to be. Now, I'm not saying this to put anybody down, because you got the superstar agent, you have great agents that are out there, really top-notch professionals that are out there. But unfortunately, in this business, you have a lot more. You have a lot more work that are not so good. Let's put it in that way, without having to really say offensive things. So, I appreciate that, George. I appreciate this being. I hope this is the best time slot on Mondays. I had to wheel and deal myself into getting this time slot. Monday night, 6 o'clock, at the tail end of prime time traffic. People are irritated, driving back in their cars. They're listening on 1240 AM, 95.9 FM. They're watching here on YouTube. They're watching on Facebook, wherever it's being broadcasted. And they're frustrated with the days, and all they need to do is hear me rant and rave and talk about things even more. So hopefully, they can listen to my voice and they can either calm them down or enrage them, one or the other. But I'm here to help guide everybody the best way I can, and hopefully the best time slot of the week and of the day. But that being said, I will give people a little bit of insight. Like I said, I part of it is in jest as far as my attitude and feel towards a lot of the other professionals out there, but it's truth. The truth is, you got about 30,000 real estate agents floating around here in the Long Island metro, New York metro area, okay, that are all with MLS and that kind of thing. And I'll tell you something. I want to say about 10% of them, which is a good sample, about 3,000 agents out of those agents, about 10% of them are solid agents. They're knowledgeable. They know enough to be able to get a job. Maybe about 5% are really good agents, and maybe about 1% of them are top level agents. So if you are fortunate enough to be working with one of the top 10%, boom, and it's not that hard to find them because you could tell a top professional, somebody that knows how to do the job for you and to get it done in the proper way, uh, right from the get go. Right from the get go. I hope the audio is working right today. We had an issue with the microphone. We had to get rid of it. We're using the obviously the microphone you see me, this wonderful pink microphone that's in front of me. I love this color. It's making me feel happy. This is very summery, very springish color. We still got a few days of spring, so I'm going to still say spring because officially it's not summer until the 21st of June. But that being said, I got this wonderful pink microphone, but this is not the microphone that feeds into the streams. The microphone I normally use for the streams is that silver bullet looking microphone, the Yeti thing. We got all kinds of things. I don't know. We're probably going to have a new microphone for next week. But regardless of whatever it is, I am working off of the microphone for that's for the from the camera directly. So hopefully it works out well, and you guys could hear me comfortably. Hey, NYC guy, thank you for joining us. So here's my advice. Okay, one, if you're a buyer, whether you're starting right this moment, you haven't looked at a house yet, or whether you're a seasoned person that's been looking for 2, 3 years, no, I just can't find the right fit. Let's start with the basics. One, be knowledgeable and have a good game plan of exactly what you need, what your true needs are, and what your true wants are. Because it's going to make a huge difference to you when you're negotiating and you're putting in offers on a place that hits all your needs and possibly has a lot of your wants. But here's the thing, let's be realistic with each other what a need is. What a need is. What is a need? Let's say you got 4 kids, family, nuclear family kind of thing, 4 kids. Well, let's make it even more condensed. You got 2 kids and a couple and then your traditional dog that wants to buy a house. Okay? You're going to need theoretically a minimum of 3 bedrooms in the place. You're probably going to want 1.5 to 2 bedrooms, bathrooms in the place as well. These are needs. These are if you're going to be spending that kind of money, these are needs that you probably want to have incorporated. If you're in a high traffic area or a condensed area, you don't want your parking spot to be part of the thing. That's a need. You know what I'm saying? If the place is small and you need the extra storage room and that kind of thing, you're going to need either a garage or a basement to be included or an attic area for extra storage. These are needs. Now, a want is a place that is perfectly aligned with the perfect colors of what you like and that kind of thing. The paint must be perfect. Everything is. That's a want. That's a want. I'll tell you something. You have to know how to pick your battles and know how to choose the right type of setting. So if you're picking out a place based on the interior wall colors, because that's what you want, you're making a big mistake as far as how you're approaching the topic. You got to get past certain things, and you have to understand what are the most important things about the place that you're looking for. Location. How does that affect you work wise? How does that affect you school wise? How does that affect anything? That's a that's a need. That's a need. Now you might be flexible on your need. You might say, I don't have any specific place I want, because there's so many towns that are fitting the same criteria as far as distance from work, good school districts, etc., etc. So you might have that, a little more flexible, but those are needs that you want to fulfill in one way or the other. So let's be very very careful about how what we're labeling needs and wants. This is really really important to sit down, narrow down, and focus. Now, once you establish what you need and what you really want in the place that you're looking to make your home for next X amount of years, now you can start determining how you're going to go about it as far as price wise. Okay? Now, I'm not going to keep beating a dead drum and keep going over and over again the scenarios and the issues that are happening right now for buyers as far as being bid out. You need to know what the market is in the area that you're looking for a home in. For example, if you see a certain area at this given point in time has only about 10 houses, 20 houses at any circulating that are available at this moment, and you see that they're all priced around the same price range, you know that there's not a lot out there. There's not a lot out there. And for you to go in there and for a house to be priced at, I don't know, I like using the round numbers. So let's just say $1 million, just for me. I know that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, that how are you just throwing around $1 million as a number?" Well, I'll tell you something. $1 million is not what it used to be, and there's a lot of neighborhoods that they're going average in the houses are $1 million a piece. Even in dumpy areas, you're seeing places selling for $1 million average. So different world, different time that we're dealing with. So you're going in knowing that that's pretty much the ballpark. So if you look at your house, it's priced at a million, more or less, a little bit more, a little bit less, and you're saying, I'm going to go to make a deal. I'm going to give an offer for $700,000 because I feel like it. Well, why? How are you justifying that? How are you justifying that? I'm going to tell you something, and people that are putting in offers, especially if you're coming in low on an offer in this type of environment, you need to be armed and prepared of why you are giving that offer in, and there has to be some kind of validation. In other words, if a place you feel is grossly overpriced and the value is not there, then you better go in there armed with comparables to show them that, listen, I'm giving this offer this because this is what they're selling for. You're asking for $1 million, Mr. Seller. However, all the other houses in the area are selling for 700. How can I justify paying that? First of all, if I'm buying it with a loan, I won't be able to appraise to purchase it. Okay, so you have to think about this. You have to go in arm. You can't just throw a a offer just like, let's see if it sticks kind of thing. This is not that kind of market. There are markets that works where you just throw, people are so desperate to sell their houses like in 2009. I'll tell you something. You could throw anything you want at people, and they're willing to entertain and hear everything. They might not accept it. It might not be workable, but they will listen to anything and not get as offended as they do now. The buyer sentiment has changed so completely, and so has the seller sentiment. So it's a very, very different environment. Is it hot in here? Is it hot in here? Now I'm gonna put the fan on. We got look at the air conditioner we have in here. This is only the best for the real estate play. We got a purple fan here. We got a purple fan to so I don't freaking die from a heart attack. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Trevor. You're the best.
All right, got it.
You are the best. Thank you so much, sir. Now I could be calm, cool, and collective, and not get overheated. But seriously, is it me or is it really hot in here?
It is a little warm.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Landlord doesn't like it air conditioned? Is he trying to sweat us out of here? Is he trying to sweat out the coronavirus out of this place? Because I heard they're spiking up. So maybe he's trying to, like, because once upon a time they were saying heat kills it. So maybe that's what he's trying to do. Maybe he's making up for all the time during the winter months that he had no heat on, and saying, well, you're never happy. You come in, you say it's cold, now it's hot. Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
I try to make everything right for you, Nick. Here, clean the microphone down for you, wipe the table down, wipe the seat down. I just completely forgot to put the.
Yeah, I know it's not on you. I'm just amused by the way they could never get this building. You know what? When I start getting on landlords again, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody hears me being advocates for landlords. There's some crappy landlords out there too. When I do a show about crappy landlords, maybe I'll walk through the building and show you what not to do in a building in a commercial rated office space and retail space environment. Maybe that's what I'll do. And maybe they're listening to me right now and they'll black us out. Who knows? That's quite a lovely orange cover you have on your microphone. You're coming out with all the colors today.
Yeah, I try to change them often.
Yeah, but you're coming out with these really, really bright, sharp colors. Look at it. They're great for the camera. Great for the camera. It makes you happy, too. You try to be angry when you're talking on the microphone, but you can't. You're looking at this nice pastel color thing. It's making you happy for some reason. So that being said, you need to really, really understand. You really, really need to understand what the nature and the vibe and the environment is in your market that you're purchasing it. Like I said, if you're going to be going in lower than what's being asked for these days, and don't get me wrong, there's some places that are really overpriced and they have the ridiculous number. There's places the place could be worth $1 million. They're going to ask for $2 million. If I get it, I get it. You know how many sellers I know like that? If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I'll stay here forever. I'm not moving. Well, yeah, thanks for wasting my time and the whole world's time of showing the place over and over again because you have an unrealistic number. And I'll be quite honest with you, in normal conditions, I wouldn't accept these kind of listings because it's wasting my time and money and reputation as well for having such an overpriced listing. But in this environment, sometimes the crazy number actually sells. That's the crazy thing about it. So you have to take into consideration the momentum, the movement. Then another thing is you need to learn how to research. You need to go back and look at the properties out there and see how long they stay on the market. Because I'll tell you something. There's so many people that want to go and see a property when it goes on the market, and they're like, I'll go there next week. It'll be around. Wrong. If it's priced right, it will not be around. More than likely, they'll be doing an inspection or drafting contracts right around this time next week, if not sooner. It's the way it works. When you see a place that says all showings will happen during an open house weekend, and that's it. No other showings after that. That typically means they're going to cluster all the buyers come in during that time. And if you're going to be a smart guy or a wise guy and say, well, I'm going to demand to have my own showing, guess what's going to happen? You're going to keep demanding for your own showing to show the place while everybody else got to see it, put their offers in there, and you just lost out on the place because it's already an offer that's been accepted. I know that sounds a little harsh the way I'm putting it and a little bit rough around the edges, but it's a real factual thing that's happening right now. It really is. And this environment is enabling a lot of sellers as well. I'll tell you that much. You're getting a lot of sellers that are getting out there that are getting themselves a little bit more pumped up. They feel like as if they have a lot more leverage, a little stronger, and they can feel like they can push around the buyers any way they want to get what they need. And to some extent, they're right. They can, because when you're offering something that nobody else is offering, and you have X amount of people that really want that one thing that's being offered, yeah, more than likely you're going to sell it and you're going to pretty much get your price. That's typically how it works. However, the market will shift, and it's slowly shifting in certain regions. So you got to be careful as a seller, and you're not selling for some reason or another. You're not selling right away, and you're being obnoxious about it. You're going to get tortured when the market changes. It's just how it works. It's just how it works. So you got to know your environment. You got to know the price ranges. You got to know how long the houses, the properties stay on the market. You have to be diligent. When something pops up, you got to run out and get it. And this goes out to the buyers individually, who are the ones that are sitting here and watching MLS, they're watching Zillow, they're watching Redfin, they're watching all these sites, or they have the alerts set up for them where they're getting updates every time a new property in the regions that they're interested in is popping up. You got to jump on it, call right away, try to get in as fast as possible, and don't linger. Yeah, life happens. I get it. You know, not everybody's going to be able to jump that moment. But you snooze, you lose. I can tell you that much. And if you go a few days without looking at what's on the market, it's very well that something went on and it's already in contract. It happens a lot more often than you think. You also have to make sure that you're ready. You know how many people that I see, they really are coming in with intent to buy, but they're truly not ready yet. And I have to let them down in a really nice way because they haven't been educated. They haven't been educated. Either the buyer themselves haven't talked to the right people to be able to explain to them this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do to be ready, that kind of case. Or the agent is running around with a chicken without a head because that's exactly what they're doing if they haven't educated their buyer of how to go about doing this. They didn't do their job. What do I mean by being ready? One, if you're purchasing with a loan, you should have already talked to a mortgage broker. Make sure that you're qualified to be able to purchase a loan. See how much buying power that you actually have. Know that the money that you have in the bank is actually ready and clear for you to be able to pull out and make a deposit when you need to. Okay? Because here's the thing that you see a lot of times. Let's say somebody is looking to purchase a house, and let's say they're getting a gift. Let's say from their mother, from their in-laws, somebody that's trying to help them out. Give them 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200, $500,000, whatever they're giving them to help them out for their down payment. Okay? And they're still needing to get a loan. Guess what? You need to document that, and you need to do that ahead of time before you already get into the whole game of getting a mortgage. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is the bank or the lender is going to red flag you. And they're going to say, hey, wait a minute, where is all this money coming in? Are you laundering money? What is going on over here? You're going to have a whole bunch of explaining to it, even if it's a really innocent kind of situation, and it's going to cost you, it's going to cause you problems, and it might cause you a situation where you lost out on a deal because you didn't prepare in the right way. These things really do happen. How else can you be prepared? Oh, I'll tell you numerous ways how to be prepared. Beyond getting your mortgage and talking to the lender, knowing what your buying power is, etc., 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 you need to be prepared to pull the trigger. Just because this is your first or second or third or fourth or fifth or 100th house, because some people have to see a billion houses to make their decision. And God bless you. God bless you. You know, if you after you go through numerous houses that all look very similar to each other, and you're just picking at certain things, and that's going back to the original thing that I told you about as far as knowing how to pick your battles and knowing what a need is and what a want is. If you're rejecting one thing or another for frivolous reasons that are not foundational and critical to you and your lifestyle, or it's something that's easily fixable, either through your own hands or through money that you may or may not have. Everybody's situation is different, and you keep passing on one after the other because of these reasons. Well, that's on you. You're not ready. You're mentally not ready. You're mentally not there to pull the trigger and actually purchase a place. You know how many people I have had that refused time, put so many offers in, and refused time and time again to go up 5,000, to go 10,000. Listen, I know it's a lot of money, but in the big picture, if you're talking about $1 million property, what is $5,000 or $10,000 more to get you where you need to get? And they'll lose it. Sometimes even $1,000, $2,000 more. They could have been tied with all the other offers for all they know, and over a refusal to go up just a couple $1,000s, just to put themselves ahead of the others and solidify them as the top offer as far as financial offer and possibly even with terms, you lost it. And then they go and look at it when it hits public records, when it finally clears, and say, I was only $2,000 away. Why did I get it? Well, because you didn't go up $2,000 more. Because you refused to go up that far. But I would have went up there. Well, why didn't you? How many times I tell people this? Just go up to if you really want the place, and you're splitting hairs because of principle. Here's another thing. Everybody's because of principle. I'm not going to pay it because, no, I'm not going to give them that extra. It's not the $1,000. It's not the $2,000. Out of principle, I'm not paying. And guess what happened? You don't have a home right now. You can't play that game. You can't play the game. Same way a seller can't play the game of being greedy and knock out one buyer after another. You know how bad it would be? And this has happened, where they try to nickel and dime the highest bid offer for a couple more $1,000. They end up losing that offer. And not only that, because of the whole situation, an uncomfortable type of negotiation environment for them, the other buyers that were right neck and neck with them walked out too. And then all of a sudden, the person went from having a bidding war with multiple buyers to getting a little too aggressive and ambitious for a final number and ends up losing everything. It doesn't happen so much. It doesn't happen so much these days, but it happens a lot. I can assure you of that. It does happen a lot. Way more than you expect. Way more than you can expect. People think people think that I'm being a little bit rough around the edges when I'm telling you these things. But I can assure you, I'm not. I'm not. It really is a scenario where you need to understand your environment. You know, sometimes tough love is what does it the best way. I could coddle you and hold your hand the whole way and tell you, "Don't worry, we'll get the next one. There's a million more houses on the market. There'll be plenty. You'll find a better one." Not in this environment. Not in this environment. Maybe in a year or two from now, we might be in that situation. But if you have to buy now because you just put your place on, you just got your place that you're living in under contract, and you're going to be homeless unless you buy something. Now is not the time for you to sit and play games. You should not be playing games whatsoever in this environment because you're dealing with your livelihood, you're dealing with your um welfare and family's welfare for the near term future. I've seen people get to the point of almost divorce over not agreeing on what houses to go and the approaches of how to buy the place. That's another thing that you need to do in order to be if you're buying the place solo, it's one thing. You're dealing with only what you need and what you want. But if you're buying with a significant other, spouse, whoever it is, partner, whatever we want to call it, you need to be in line with your needs and wants together. You can't go to a scenario where you're walking through the whole place. The one person, boom, 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 hitting everything in the checklist, and then the other person say, "I got nothing I want in this place. I'm not buying it." You need to be on the same page. You have to be uniform. You have to both work as a team and make sure that for the most part, you're not going to 100% agree on everything. If you did, it'd be a really weird relationship if you agree on every single thing. Because I don't know if any couple or any situation where they agree on every single thing. But if you do, God bless you. I'd love to meet you. But you have to be on the major things on the same page. You have to be. You can't say, "I want to live in Merrick, where I am right here in the studio," and then have the other one say, "Not a chance in hell. I want to live in Riverhead." You're never going to find a house that way. You got to at least find some middle ground as far as where you're going to be moving to. And even if you're putting in offers, and this has happened in the past, where you're putting in offers and they get accepted, and all of a sudden the spouse says, "I don't know why you put an offer and they got accepted because I don't want to move." You got to be on the same page. You truly do. Do I sound animated? Do I sound like I'm really, really uh, like up on this? Yeah, it's because like I'm living this and I feel bad. Like I don't feel happy when a nice like young family wants to go buy a place, their first place, their dream home, and they keep getting rejected time and time again. It's not a really nice feeling. Financially, it doesn't make a difference to me. I'm going to sell it to one person or the other. But I'm not a cruel, cold human being where I'm going to be happy about people missing out. I want everybody to be able to make that dream happen for them and buy the house. But you have to figure it out. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be organized. You have to be ready to go. And speaking of ready to go, if this is not your first home and you're living in a home, and this is a big, big thing that happens all the time. This happens all the time. They're ready, they want to move to the place, but they have to sell the place that they live in order to have enough money to be able to purchase the other home or to be able to get a proper loan because their LTV, loan to value ratio, is imbalanced if they have two big loans like that. But they don't do anything about it. They're sitting there consistently looking at places, throwing offers here and there, It's shame on the agents that are allowing them to do this, by the way. This could go back to me shaming agents and stuff like that. Shame on the agents that are allowing them to do this without really getting them in a clear understanding of what they have to do in order to get themselves really ready for an offer, an acceptable offer, a viable offer. And this doesn't go out to the cash buyers. It doesn't go out to the buyers that have the means to be able to sustain two homes at the same time. This is for the ones that actually have to sell in order to make the next move, to move into the next home, to purchase the next home. You need to start coming up with a game plan. You at least need to get your place on the market. You don't have to necessarily accept the offer, a straight offer, without finding a new place. You could do a offer where you do contingent, where you can stay in a month or two, or whatever the case is. Work out a deal with the buyers that are looking at it. Don't forget, the buyers that are coming in are in the same boat that you are in. As far as needing to get into place and losing or getting rejected from offers and et cetera, you got a lot of that's happening. So there's a little bit of understanding back and forth that people have become a little bit more agreeable and helpful for each other to be working out a situation that could benefit everybody. Where, yeah, you could stay in here a month or two extra, or maybe you could lease back or rent back for a few months until you get into your next place. But you gotta get your place on the market. You gotta put the house on the market to be able to be able to not only get a secure deal in place that's ready to go, get into contract, but even more importantly, even more important, give the person that you're putting the offer in, the potential house that you want to move into, to that actual owner, that seller, give them something that makes you credible and viable as a buyer, as a strong buyer. Because if you don't do that, you know what's going to happen? Do you know what is going to happen? They can take your offer. One of a few things. They can take your offer, say, sorry, it's not acceptable. I can't take it with these terms. Two, they're going to laugh at you and say, not a chance. I'm going to take it with a contingency on a loan, with a or on a contingency of the sale of a home that you haven't even put it on the market yet. Forget about having a viable contract to show them that you have a strong buyer that's ready to buy it. You haven't even put it on the market yet. And people have these delusions and these imaginations and these kind of thoughts in their heads. Well, I got it in a really, really desirable hot area. I'm going to sell it overnight. What if you don't? Let's say the market starts turning and slowing down the moment you put it on the market. Let's say you can't get what you thought you were going to be able to get as far as the value of your place, as far as a return on it. And your deposit is going to be lower than you expected because you didn't get enough money from the sale of your place. What happens then? You go back and renegotiate. You can burn the deal. Are you going to blow up the other deal? Maybe. But I'll tell you, a knowledgeable seller or a seller that actually has a strong listing agent that understands this market, or a strong attorney that really knows this market and this environment, will advise them to not take a deal like that and to get something a little bit better in terms, or a lot better in terms. You have to think of these things. You really do. Now it feels like this show is just me just talking to the radio and talking into the microphone and lecturing on this. And maybe it is partially a lecture, but I'm hoping that in my own weird way, I'm educating everybody in a way where I'm hitting you with full blunt force trauma. That full, the full effect. Because when you sugarcoat things and you tell this to people in a way where, well, don't worry, we'll find a way to have. No, 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 no. You can't give people the easy out. You have to explain to them exactly how it is. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to yell at the person because I've seen that too, and I'm freaking mortified. You ever see? You ever see somebody that's been hired by a customer or client just yell at their client, their customer? It's horrible. It's a horrible situation. I see that happen all the time. But some people they don't know how to communicate that. But what I'm saying right now is you need to understand how to be able to go about this. And this putting your home on the market either prior or simultaneously as you're starting your search and active bidding and offers on homes is something that a lot of people are not doing the right way. And I've rejected one deal after the other that came in contingent to the sale of their home because of that reason. It's happened to me so many times on so many different sales on so many occasions. I can't even count anymore because it's not a strong deal. It's not. It's not. If there's a market where there's nothing, there's crickets, I can't sell my place, maybe you'll get a seller that'll accept that. And maybe they don't have high motivation to move right away, so they don't care if they're going to stay in for another half a year or a year in their house until this deal goes through on the other end. Doesn't happen very often though. It doesn't happen very often. So these are thoughts. These are things that you need to have in mind. You know, these days the weather is great. I mean, we had a little bit of rain on Sunday, but for the most part, the weather's just great right now. It's holding great. These weekends, one after the other, should be jam packed. These should be non-stop open houses, and they're not. There's only a handful of open houses happening every weekend in every neighborhood. Why? Because there's still not a lot of stuff on the market. There's nothing out there. It's weird that I'm saying this in an environment that the interest rates almost doubled. There's still not stuff in the market. And that's the reality. That's the truth. Not in every single sector, but it's still very, very truthful in a lot of sectors. Everybody wants to take their spin. Everybody wants to give their predictions. But that's not going to change you as a buyer, your situation. If you have to move today, you have to be in a new house by August. Are you seriously going to sit there, go in prepared, and play games? Not in this environment. I'm just saying this because you might put yourself in a worse situation than paying a little bit extra for the place. It's because if you refuse to purchase a place, and by the way, rentals are not a really great option these days. Isn't not, especially on the island. Yeah, in the city, in Queens, Brooklyn, there's a lot of rentals out there. Believe me, there are. They might not be great rentals. They might be super high price rentals, but they're out there. They exist. Not on the island. There's not that many options. A lot of the rental homes, believe it or not, were sold to people that are now using them as their primary residences now. You're losing more and more rental opportunities, housing opportunities here on the island on a daily basis. So thinking that, all right, worst case scenario, I'm going to rent. Well, you know what? You better be prepared on that too. You need to actually have a game plan and know exactly where you're going to be moving to if that's going to be the case, regardless of what it's going to cost you. At least to know that you have a viable place to go. And that might actually cost you more at the end of the day. It might cost you a lot more at the end of the day. The rental price, the movie price, the having to move again price, all that might end up costing you a lot more money. If you're in a scenario where you need to do a 1031 exchange and swap one property for the other, you're going to have a problem if you're not ready. These are just facts. This is truth that's happening. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm talking deaf ears, but this is the way it goes. I really hope what I'm putting out there, people could take from the radio, through YouTube, through Facebook, through wherever we're broadcasting right now, through the website, from WGBB on the live stream, from that little big brother camera that's sitting and watching me in the corner, where if you go onto the WGBB.com site, you can go and see it directly over my head, and you can see if I have any bald spots or nothing like that. You can see it from there. I'm hoping that through all these different platforms and all these different pools of people, that just a little sliver, just a small percentage of what I'm saying is breaking through and people can really understand and it could help you. I really hope that's the case. And believe me, I'm not saying this to benefit me in any way. As always, you don't see me putting out my phone number out there. You don't see me putting out call me so I can sell your property. Like I got plenty of clients to sell my places to. I got customers that come to me on a daily basis. We got plenty of business that come in there. If you really need help, you'll be able to find a way to contact me. I'm very easy to find. But Google has me all over the place. All you got to do is type in my name and you get the information. So that's not the perspective. I'm trying to help people in the best way possible. It's just how it is. And I really hope, like I said, that it's breaking through to some people that it helps them in some way. Aren't you happy you're not moving now, Trevor? You're probably super ecstatic of that because it's not fun. It's not fun unless you're moving out of state. I know a lot of people that they've had a good experience when they're moving out of state because you know how great it is when you sell property here for $500,000 $1 million. You know what you could buy in Texas for that kind of money? Yeah, a freaking mansion, or Florida, or other places.
I know one of my daughter moved to Delaware, and the house that she had down there, she could never afford to hear.
Absolutely. What are you gonna like? I don't know what the price range was, but in Delaware you could get a hell of a lot more. A hell, and you know what? There's a very
and bigger house too now.
Absolute bigger, more land, cleaner oxygen, less traffic, and there's a really really nice strip of homes and neighborhoods that are all right in the river. Really really nice area. So every place has something to offer. There are opportunities out there for people as long as they want those opportunities to change their minds. You know, yeah, Delaware is a perfect example where you don't have to go across country. You don't have to get into plane to still come back into New York.
That's right. 3 4 hours right here.
And still get something good stuff that's going on. Pennsylvania is another place a lot of people move to. We don't talk about these places as much as we talk about Florida. Everybody looks to focus on Florida and Texas. But these smaller areas are great options. And if you just sold your property for top dollar in New York, even if you're paying top dollar in these new other areas that you're going to, it's like a joke compared to what you just sold it for. Some cases, you have people with big loans, $500,000, $1 million loans, but there was so much equity left in their place after they sold it here that they were able to buy it with a very small loan, or some cases all cash in these other states because there was so much left over. There's a good opportunities out there. You just gotta, you have to know what you want. Like I said, I hope this segment, this episode, this week's real estate play was helpful to people in one way, the best way you got the most you can get out of it. Uh, that's my real focus and goal with this show, to educate people to make great moves and financial decisions in real estate. I'm not going to ever tell you what to do with your money. I'm going to just tell you what the options are and help guide you the best way out of my mind possible. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial guru like these, snake charmers and these snake oil salesmen that you see online all over the place. That basically, they tell you how to get rich and make millions or make the moves that everybody, the rest of the world is so stupid they can't figure out their gimmick. I'm not one of these guys, but like I said, I hope it helps everybody out. We're at the end of the show. I'm gonna make sure I take a moment to tell all the fathers out there, all the fathers, because we don't do this enough. All the fathers, have a happy Father's Day. Have an awesome Father's Day. Hopefully your kids treat you well, show you a little bit of love that day. They show you a lot of love every day. But hopefully they do something that make you all warm and squishy that day more than usual. Because you know what? Kids have a mom. We always focus on the moms. You got to focus on the dads too. There's two parents. Or, sometimes they have two moms and two dads. So take care of your two dads this Sunday. I can't exclude it, but I keep forgetting. It's 2022. We have to include everybody and make sure that we say it the proper way. I'm a traditionalist. So a lot of times you hear me say stuff like the mother and the father. Not everybody has a mother. People have two fathers. Some people have two moms. Some people have some kind of mutant freak that they call a parent. I don't know. It's a different world. Um, but have a happy Father's Day. Hope there's a beautiful day. I'll be back with you again, just like every week, on the Real Estate Plate, Monday, 6 to 7 p.m. If you need to email me or ask any questions, the email here is realestateplateRadio@gmail.com. Real easy. RealestateplateRadio@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, or the IG, like the kids call it. You can find me on Twitter. All you got to do is type in my name, Nick Sicalis, or Real Estate Plate, and you'll find me. And I promise you, you will get a response from me one way or the other. But until then, have an awesome week. Make lots of money in real estate. I'll be back with you again Monday. Have a great night, people.
This is WGBB AM 1240 and W240 DFFM 95.9 Freeport, New York.